Hello everyone, thank you so much for clicking on today's video and welcome to my channel. Today's post was shared by OP on the forum r/amIthebuttface. It's essentially like r/amItheahole, but it has looser rules. So it's like a backup forum to get advice for posts that might not qualify for r/amItheahole. This post is a crazy roller coaster ride, so I hope you guys are strapped in. If you do like this post, please leave a thumbs up. And before I move on to the post, I just want to take a second and thank all of my subscribers. Thank you so much. You guys are so amazing. For those of you that don't know, I have a personal goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers. So if you like my content and would like to hear more from me and support me, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button. Anyways, thank you so much for your time and on to the story. Am I the B-face for refusing to divorce my husband? I, a 30-year-old female, met my husband Dave, who's a 32-year-old male, when we were little. He's been my best friend since we were 10. We were raised in very conservative Christian families in the Bible Belt. We followed the script expected for us. Dated in high school, engaged in college, married after his graduation, and kids after I established a career. Kids are now 5 and 3. We've been married for 10 years. We separated but stayed legally married 3.5 years ago because I finally admitted to him and myself that I'm a lesbian. I thought that I could fake it until I make it, but I just couldn't do it anymore. It was strained for a while and we continued couples therapy. Ultimately, we both wanted to do the best for our kids. For us, that meant continuing to quote-unquote live together. He lives in the apartment above our detached garage because neither of us wanted to be single parents. Eventually, we both started dating other people and I met my girlfriend Krista about 1.5 years ago. She knew that I had kids and an unconventional co-parenting arrangement up front, and I told her that I was still legally married after about 6 months of dating. She had been fine with our living in co-parenting style prior to this, but was less than thrilled by my lack of official divorce. She asked if divorce was eventual, and I told her yes. Dave and I agreed that we'd divorce when it was no longer mutually beneficial to remain married, for example, a new potential spouse. The longer Krista and I were together, the more my being married bothered her. She feels remaining married symbolizes that I'm subconsciously clinging to my straight identity and is a barrier to moving on with my life, which I mildly disagreed with, but I understand. She does not want to get married and voiced the opinion that it was quote-unquote just a piece of paper, so I'm surprised that it's become such a big deal. I agreed 4 months ago that I would bring it up with Dave and set a timeline for divorce by the end of this year to make her happy. 2 months ago, Dave's company downsized his job, and a week later he found out that his increasing fatigue and illness was aggressive leukemia. He's undergoing treatment that is estimated to be 10% effective in cases like his, and they told him to consider that this might be terminal. If the treatment fails, they've given him 6 months to 1 year. For Krista, this changes nothing. For me, divorcing Dave now would be unconscionable and would make what is his potentially final months even harder than they have to be. Whether she likes it or not, he's the father of my children and my oldest friend. To force the issue while he's fighting for his life would be incredibly selfish and damaging to both him and our kids. She's telling me that not only am I regressing into denial about my sexuality by refusing to bring it up again, but also that I'm already a selfish a-hole by leading her on, and that I wanted the best of both worlds by remaining married to a man while continuing to date a woman. The overwhelming verdict was not the butt face. In response to a now deleted comment, OP says, "I didn't hide my marital status. I didn't hide anything from her. I spent 20 effing years hiding how I felt about people, and I was done doing it. I told her what she wanted to know, as she wanted to know about it. She knew that there was a man that I'd been married to. She knew that I had young children with him. She knew that we lived under different roofs on the same property. She knew that we were still friends. She learned these things as they came up in conversations as we got to know each other. She spent the first 4 months seeing other people, being extremely vocal about not wanting a relationship, and calling us a quote-unquote extended booty call. Sorry, I don't think someone whose expressed interest lies solely in getting in my pants and not a damn thing else counts as a relationship. The moment she expressed a desire for something more, we had a conversation where I explained everything and gave her every opportunity to tell me to F off. If that makes me a horrible person, then I guess I am. Another Redditor said, not the butt face, I'm sorry you're going through that. I understand what you wanted in the beginning, but now you're just looking after Dave. I understand where Krista is coming from. You haven't given up your straight relationship yet, and that's frustrating for her. But now I don't think it's about the relationship, it's about your friendship. I'm sure others will disagree, but you're likely making Dave's life better at the probable end. I would hope that Krista would be able to understand what you're hoping to do in this scenario. Have you explained that to her? I mean, in reality, can you really argue that you have remained married at this point? You guys lead separate lives and are actively dating. At this point, to me, it's literally just a piece of paper. I suppose that if you lived with him, it's easier to argue, but either way, I don't see the problem. But that's just me. Anyways, I do hope that you figure something out. Best of luck to Dave. To which Opie replied, I've tried explaining and she's insistent that the agreement that I made with her is more important. She said that if Dave really is okay with my lifestyle like he says, it wouldn't matter to him that we get divorced, and it definitely wouldn't matter to me. Another editor said, not the butt face, for many of the reasons people have stated. She's being a manipulative a-hole. Dave sounds absolutely wonderful. I would like to add that it's entirely possible Dave's job will find a reason to fire him. It happens to a surprisingly sad number of cancer patients. If that happens and you're still legally married, you can get him insurance. Otherwise, it would be attempting to get disability quickly, and that never works. He would be without most treatment then, including pain medication, unless he can afford out-of-pocket costs. It just isn't practical to divorce at this point. Plus, it could ruin your relationship with your kids. To which Opie replied, apologies, Dave already lost his job, and that's what I meant by downsizing. Through no fault of his own, the company minimized their budget by eliminating positions in his department, and he fell below the seniority threshold to bid in on a different job in the company. He's already on my employer insurance policy and has been for years. All the emotional and mental complications aside, insurance more than anything is my rock bottom reasoning for not getting a divorce until his health issues are reasonably resolved. Another editor said, not the butt face, I mean, you guys are separated spiritually and romantically, so why does it matter? Getting a divorce will only cost more money for a piece of paper saying that you aren't together. If you love her, I would think that she would value that the most. To which Opie replied, that is almost exactly what I said when we talked and fought about this last night. She's never said this, but I suspect that she is jealous or maybe insecure that he's still in my life, and I still care about him. I can't seem to get her to understand that he's not going anywhere. Kids, hello, and he's always going to be family to me. I understand that's not easy when it's an ex, but he's given her no reason to not like him aside from existing. I've lost a lot of my quote-unquote friends and family over my coming out. Of all the people who deserve to cut me loose, it's him. But through all of this, he supported me even when it hurt him. My parents don't speak to me anymore. If they want to see my kids, they call him. He's welcome at my parents' house for holidays. I'm not. It infuriates him and he's tried talking to them, but they just are that way. He almost cut ties with them over their refusal to acknowledge my existence, but he didn't because I asked him not to. I want my kids to have grandparents. He's taken on that burden as well, defending me even though I quote-unquote betrayed him and our vows, and making it clear that if he hears them bashing me to my kids, they'll never see the kids again. I don't understand why she can't accept him in my life when he's done nothing but accept her. First of all, I know that this isn't a support sub and I didn't expect for it to be, but it kind of turned out that way, and I appreciate you all so much. Thank you. I received the most helpful, constructive feedback that I've ever gotten in my entire life from this sub. As far as the issue at hand in my last post, I feel confident that I'm doing the right thing by not asking Dave for a divorce. Krista still disagrees, damn near violently. As such, she's no longer my girlfriend. I tried to have a calm, adult conversation with her about it the night after my original post, emphasis on tried. She was immediately aggravated and defensive, told me that unless the next words out of my mouth involved signing divorce papers, we had nothing to talk about. I asked her why it bothered her so much, and it turned into an argument no matter how calmly I tried to remain. Ultimately, she admitted, in a fit of rage, that she felt people who stayed friends with their exes are psychologically damaged and guaranteed to cheat. When I asked her if she knew my situation and felt that way, why did she press me for a relationship that she originally said she never wanted? She said that she assumed Dave would snap and do something that either was awful or that she could convince me was awful at some point. It then came out in our argument that she was pushing so hard on the divorce issue now to intentionally create tension and shatter Dave and I's care for each other because again, in her opinion, it's completely unnatural. That was it. I told her I was done and I didn't need a heartless, selfish, insecure, jealousy-ridden POS like her in my life or around my kids. The rest of it after that was just immature on both of our parts, with us both yelling insults at each other while she threw stuff everywhere. Clothes, blankets, couch cushions, looking for things that she'd brought to the house and left over the last year. The kids weren't there. Thank God. I had the foresight to see if Dave would have them for a quote-unquote sleepover in his apartment. I'm okay, I think. Grieving a bit, which feels stupid considering everything. But I feel like I had a rotten tooth for so long, I didn't realize how much pain and pressure it was causing me until I yanked it out. So guys, what did you think about this? Can we just start off by saying that my heart breaks for Dave? He sounds like such an amazing human being. I can't even. And then he ends up getting leukemia? Leukemia? Like what the F? Why is the world so mean sometimes? Oh my God. And now, for the elephant in the room. Can we all just agree that the girlfriend Krista was effing insane? Like she was a manipulative a-hole. She eventually admitted to trying to manipulate and break the friendship between two people that were effectively co-parenting, knowing that one of the parents was going to die within a year. Like what? Who does that? How crazy do you have to be able to do that? Honestly, I will say that when I first started off reading the post, I was really against OP because I'm like, why won't you divorce it? But then the cancer part came and I was like, oh. And then the update came and I was like, oh my God, girl, you dodged a bullet. Thank goodness that she's okay. I do feel bad that she had such a horrible experience with Krista, but I wish her the best and I wish her family the best. Anyways, I do hope that you enjoyed this story. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and please subscribe if you'd like to hear more stories from Reddit with updates.